Are we not doing that?
But you remember that in the U.S., President Obama asked for such powers, and he got them to stimulate the U.S. economy.
Now let's ask this question. The U.S. that we have sought all this while to follow, have we exactly followed the United States?
No.
In the structure of our federation, we are talking about states and the federal. That's who they are. That's who we are trying to be. Have we been that? The answer is no. Everywhere people complain about tools in Nigeria, we are not exactly having issues with our tools. We are the issue.
Okay.
The structure of our country is not a problem. If we need to restructure anything, it is to restructure the Nigerian, not the Nigerian nation.
So that means a bad workman quarrels with his
We
tools.
quarrel with his tools, and no matter what tools you give him, he'll give you the same result, and that's exactly what we are doing.
Mr. Nzako,
yes.
From Shagari to Buhari as head of state to Babangida as head of state back to Buhari, each of this, practically every other government that comes in wants to come in with its own economic plan or economic stimulation plan or stabilization plan, as the case may be.
Yes.
I mean, some of them ended up being SAP and all, Structural Adjustment Program. They all come up with one package or the other. But have they worked?
They have not worked, and the reason is simple. The simple reason is the foundation. The foundation is on a quicksand. And what is that quicksand? Our federal structural system does not support development.
We just finished talking
Back to segment one.
Does not support development. And I say it having analyzed Nigerian system. And that is why every new government, every succeeding government seems to perform worse than the previous one. Than the one before. Today, yes, in 1982, Shagari's government had issues. But if you now juxtapose that government with today's government, you will now say that Shagari's government belongs to that of America, that he did excellently well. And succeeding governments continue to do worse than the old ones. What is the reason? Population is increasing. As we speak, Nigeria does not know how many we are. Everything is World Bank and United Nations extrapolation. Population is increasing, productivity is shrinking, investments are flying away, and instead of us to sit down and look deep, holistically into these problems and solve them as a nation that want to move forward, we're taking the thing piecemeal. Piecemeal. At the end of the day, it is movement without
motion.
Motion without movement.
Yes, motion without movement. So moving round and round in a circle. Now, if we take this strictly as it is, as the president or his president men seem to be proposing, just like Tony said, there is no power that the president needs that he doesn't have already. What he lacks is that will to begin to execute it to the best interest of Nigeria as a nation. If this government fails to restructure Nigeria, when I will say restructuring does not mean balkanization. Restructuring means let's look at all these things holistically, and most importantly, let every state be semi-autonomous. Let every region be semi-autonomous. Use the resources under your soil. Adam Smith will tell you in his theaters on the Wealth of Nations that every resource in this world lies under the soil. So everything, apart from the air you breathe in air, every other thing lies under the soil. And even in air, we are blessed with sunlight. Massive one. Has there been any earthquake in Nigeria? None. And we pray that God will continue to bless us and sustain us in that manner. But we as individuals, what have we been doing? Every day, one problem after another. Government is looking for money. Meanwhile, it's only in this country that it is easier to take out foreign exchange than to bring it in. As we speak currently, it is very difficult to bring in money. The rest of the world will allow you to bring in money into their country. When you want to take out, it becomes very difficult. But here, when you want to take out, it's easy. When you want to bring in, it's difficult. But you must look into that. Yes, fight against corruption. Yes, every world is corrupt. Every world, every country, every individual. Naturally, the natural selfishness of an individual makes him to be tending towards corruption. It is the discipline and self-control that will now wage it. Financial Regulatory Council of Nigeria, all over the world, they will tell you, don't allow money to flow in. Find out the source of this money. Let it not be blood money, let it not be drug money, let it not be this. But when the money is going into their country, they don't ask similar questions. If they do, why would Nigerians' money be flying around in Switzerland, in other parts of Europe, even in China, in America, and everywhere? Have they asked that question? So when it comes to bringing in money from their own country into Nigeria, they will tell us, this money is not clean. Don't take it. Nigeria must look into that.
Okay.
The whole foreign exchange must not come only from NNPC. The informal sector brings in a lot of forex. So government must tinker with that, and that foreign exchange to come in. Naira will come down, productivity will go forward.
So,
these are not rocket science economics.
Okay, so if we go by this, we won't need the president's power. But Kema, with all this, the different governments, past governments, someone says that the thing about Nigeria, each government that comes in wants to pride itself in starting something new.
Yes.
But as Mr. Nzako has said, the previous ones have not worked. What's the guarantee that this will work?
First of all, you know, there's the way of doing things, and then there's the Nigerian way of doing things.
Have we moved to the way of doing things?
You really can't predict things with Nigeria because we're very unique.
Okay.
Very unique. We're unique. So we find ourselves trying these new things. But I would say, if the old isn't working, then please, what are you doing with it? We're trying to make a comparison with the Shagari government, and like my learned brother said, he said one would seem to suggest that the Shagari government was doing excellently well as compared to this. However, figures don't lie, facts are sacred. After Shagari left power, our inflation rates spiraled to over 30%, and our foreign reserve dropped to $2.8 billion. As of today, it's about 26, within the region of 26, fluctuating 26, 27, 25 billion dollars. Now, what happens what makes your foreign reserves drop this much? When you have imbalanced trade, your trades are imbalanced, so your central bank would always use your foreign reserves to make payments for, to mark up the differential and all of that. And at the end of the day, you still keep coming back to the same problem. Our oil exports are dwindling, like he said. Inflows are not coming into the country. And trust me, inflows aren't coming into the country because we have poor credit ratings. Our foreign reserves are dwindling. As a result, Fitch keeps giving us bad ratings. Moody's and Paul keep giving us bad ratings. Why? Because your foreign reserves are reducing. And once this happens, people wouldn't bring in their money. In any case, they can't even repatriate it. You said it's easy for it to go out. It's not. That's why these foreign airlines are leaving the country, because they can't even repatriate their returns from investments anymore. Which is why I feel we need this law. Let's loosen some of all these things. Let's loosen our forex laws. Let's make these things a lot easier.
Is it the president that will loosen them?
That's the question.
That's the question.
I mean, someone should propose a bill. If it's a presidential bill, then so be it. The civil society hasn't proposed it. But the president is proposing it to the National Assembly anyways, because the National Assembly would eventually pass that bill. As the case may be.
The president is not proposing the bill. The president is seeking to set aside
altogether
for 1 year altogether some of these laws so that he can use emergency situation to treat emergency problem.
Okay. Tony, your closing thought.
Well, it would appear that we have strayed a little bit to go and discuss the generals of our problems. But if we want to narrow down to the specifics of the law you have, or the proposed law, which the government is denying anyway, the bill, which the government is denying anyway, you want to see that the items there, one by one, each one of them calls for an entire nation's discussion.
Okay.
And we are not going to make progress on this route.
All right. Thank you very much. We've had a conversation with Anthony Ebe, legal practitioner, Kema Ufele-Smith, a human rights ambassador and legal practitioner, and Fred Nzako, legal practitioner and economist. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for speaking with us. Sunrise will be back in a moment. Please don't go away.